call this public hearing to order for consideration or comments by the public for a potential right-of-way extension at Country Place. For Mr. Hanson, and since it's been a couple of months at least since we've chatted about this, I asked Mr. Aller to give us a quick recap as to what is happening with this before we go to the general public and see whether there's any comments.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. Country Place is a dead-end street. During plowing operations, refuse and recycling collection, anything of that nature, it's always a problem on how to get out of there. So through the years, we've used driveways and things of that nature. We've busted up a couple driveways and had to like that. So we reached out to Moose Lodge, asked them if they would be interested in initially providing an easement at the end of Country so that we could put a turnaround in that area. And they were agreeable to that, so we started down that path. And unfortunately, the Lucas County tax map liked and wanted it done in different or right-of-way. There's a 2-foot buffer lot at the end of the street. So they said because of that buffer lot, it can only be done via a right-of-way extension. So we, that's where we're at today. Basically approving that right-of-way extension. We'll ultimately come back to you with a for additional room. But that's basically what this is all about. It's just for us to be able to put a turnaround in at the end of Country Place. It'll be on Moose Lodge property. They're agreeable to it, no issues there. It's just an issue that needs to be X-bound.
And Mr. Aller, just a question, presuming that we move forward with this, what's the timing of the mechanics of when this thing would be finished?
I
Do you
think
have a
we
sense
probably,
of that?
yeah, I think we probably, the public hearing, and then we probably have, there's probably no notices after this public
Nope.
hearing.
This is
So
it.
at
So
the
it's
next
just the
meeting-
legislation.
Okay, next meeting, we'll bring the legislation back
Right.
back to
But,
council.
That's it.
we would be prepped and ready to go sometime early 22, whenever the snow breaks, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, our intent is to get it done early in the year. Because it's something that Republic wants as well as us. We actually initiated it because of snow plowing operations, ones that broke the driveway and had to replace it, but public trucks have the same issue.
Right. Any other questions from members of council?
I guess I have one, Mr. Eller. Just so there's no impact to the, sounds like a beneficial impact, I guess, to the other properties.
Yeah, yeah. The people that we have dealt with, because we've, as they backed up, we've gotten into yards that we've had to repair, and I mentioned the driveway that we had to. The people have been really considerate. I mean, it hasn't been a bad relationship. It's just something that this gives us an opportunity to avoid it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aller.
Mr. Mayor, just like to make a comment on individual or Mr. Fry. Or Mr. Sorry,
Mr.
Mr. Fry.
McCann, go ahead.
I'd just like to mention an individual did show up for the meeting earlier.
I've got that.
Okay, great. Have at it.
Yeah. So, but I've got to do this in the right order, as I've been told. So, there's nobody in the audience. So I'm assuming there's no, unless there's negative comments from members of council about this, I'm assuming there's nobody that's going to be against this particular provision for the right-of-way extension. Hearing none, as Mr. McCann mentioned, one lady did show up prior to the council meeting. Her name is Mary Reisinger, and she lives at 6625 Country Place. And she's one of those concrete driveways that that was going to be potentially impacted by this, by these changes that we're considering. And I think the word that she used was stupendous in regards to it. She's all for it. She thinks it's the greatest thing because of the nature and the impact on her driveway. Because she's one of those driveways that we're turning around in, as are the other vehicles. So she's all in favor of it, and that was the only thing, and I don't see anybody else in the audience for it either. So unless there's any other comments from city council members?
I do believe the word she used was quickly.
Quickly. Yes, that's why I asked the question of Mr. Aller about the timing. I did that for her benefit, so, because I think she may be watching this online as we speak. So, Ms. Reisinger, thank you very much for coming earlier. And unless there's any other comments by members of council, then I will, do we have to make a motion to prepare legislation? I don't think we do for this, do we?
No, just
So then I'll basically adjourn the public hearing regarding the right-of-way extension for Country Place. Thank you very much.